Welcome to the Open View podcast. This is episode 7, and today we're talking about something that affects every single one of us, and that is our relationship with money. Today, I'm going to be talking about getting a financial life, and this is specifically the personal finance in your 20s and 30s by Beth Kobliner. And her autobiography on the back here, or like the little description of the book, is a highly readable and sustainable guide to the grown up realms of money and business. Money is emotional, it's spiritual, it's practical. And for me, it's been a journey. I didn't grow up seeing money as like freedom or joy. I saw it more as like fights and stress and even heartbreak as my parents got divorced. But over the years, I've learned that money doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be both spiritual blessing and a practical tool. And so today I just kind of wanted to like go over that with you guys a little bit because it's still been a learning curve for me, especially in my 20s and as I'm becoming an adult and as I'm, going out in the world on my own. I just want to share kind of the things that I've come across and ways that can help you. Recently, I was listening to Jay Shetty's podcast where he sat down with Lewis Howes and they talked about how money mirrors the way you see yourself. And that hit me so hard because the way I saw myself in pain, insecure, searching was also the way that I treated money. So today we're going to unpack that. We're going to bring God into the conversation, and I'm going to share how to manifest, pray, and build wealth the Viau way. So in this first little section, I want to talk about how money wounds, and how that is like an early belief, especially when you're very young, and how money can shape who you are in your early adulthood. So here is a personal story about me. When I lost my house and my boyfriend a couple years ago when we separated, um, we didn't lose it because of like any financial hardship or anything. We just weren't working out, and so we lost our house because of that. And we actually ended up positive with the sale of our house. We didn't end up underneath it or upside down or anything. But money felt like it was a wall between me and peace because him and I always had this thing of like it has to be 50-50. We have to be 100% equal, and I have to pay for this and you have to pay for that. So like money was like kind of already a hard conversation for us. We had our own bank accounts and stuff, which was good, but we also had a joint account which all of our money went into for like bills and things like that. So learning to navigate your finances with somebody else early on in my 20s, I think was not a very good, like, smart idea because that just didn't give me any direction or any hope for my own finances because a lot of my money was going towards that same account. So, growing up, I saw my parents fight about it during the divorce. It was custody, bills, who paid for what, and that made me believe that money was unstable. And I carried that belief into adulthood. I always heard we don't have enough money, or you made me pay, or like your parent, like my mom would always say, your dad made me pay this much in lawyer fees this week, and I don't have money for what such and such, whatever I wanted. So connecting this to the Jay and Lewis podcast, they shared that money often becomes an identity marker. And if you grow up with scarcity, you attach fear to it. If you grow up with abundance, you attach confidence to it. Both said you have to rewrite the script. Those moments have shown me two things. One, money can feel heavy and overwhelming. And two, being financially secure, especially as a woman and one day as a mother, is one of the smartest, like most empowering things we can do. So today, I want to talk about the spiritual side of money, the practical side of money, and how we can heal our money story the Viau way. Recently, I had a lapse in health insurance because I was switching jobs, and as I'm starting my career, and there was a couple times that I got sick this past year, and I actually had to go to the hospital for it to get some fluids, things. It's a long story, but the medical bills started showing up, and I kind of felt that old fear creeping in again, that pit in my stomach, and I thought, I'll never catch up, like I'll never be able to do it. And it reminded me of the time that I lost my house, and everything felt like it was going out of control. And the medical bills are something so many people of us face silently, and they can make you feel powerless. I know a lot of the patients that I've come across throughout my career in healthcare have had their struggles and had their ups and downs when it comes to finances. And I think that a lot of us just don't really know like what a lot of people are going through, and I think it's just kind of important to be aware that not everyone may have it as good as you do, and there are some people out there that may have it worse. um, and it's always good to stay positive about the situation that you're in is and to always be grateful. And instead of shame, I think you should choose empowerment and planning for a more secure future. And the way that I would do this is financial security equals self love. And I've had to learn that the hard way both ways with finances and with myself personally. And the smartest thing a woman can do is grow and protect her finances. Not because money equals happiness, but because financial security equals freedom. It means you can breathe, it means you can take care of yourself and your children. It means you're not waiting on someone else to rescue you. And that is always one thing that my family and my mom and my grandma have always instilled in me in my whole life. And it's especially true when it comes to my education. My grandma always said that your education is not going to wake up one day and decide to leave you. And they really instilled in me the power of school and the power of getting an education. And I think that's why that I went so far as to get my master's degree, is because that they just like let me know that that is so important for me to have my own stability and to have my own financial income, because I've seen time and time again my mom only got married twice, but I saw it in both of her divorces of her being financially dependent on another man. And let me tell you, my mom has always been great being a single mom, but she did have that like reliance on a man, especially in marriage, to pay 50-50 and to have true financial freedom. She felt like she needed a man in her life. And the trajectory that I'm going on and the route that I'm going on is to have my own financial trajectory. It would be nice to share finances with a man, only in the fact that he would be actually paying for everything, and then I just get to spend my money on what I want to spend my money on. But until then, I don't need to be putting up with a man if he's not being financially forthcoming. You know what I mean? I'm too old for that shit. So I am building financial security as an act of love for myself and for my future family. So a lot of the work that I've done leading up to this is healing my beliefs, my past beliefs with money, and manifesting what I want to have happen. So it's rewrite your money story from fear to trust. And no matter how much money I have in my bank account, no matter how much money hits my bank account on payday, or if I look in there and see $3, I'm going to say thank you. And every time that I do that, I'm going to say that I'm grateful for what I have right now, but I desire more. You're always okay to desire and want more from the universe, but always be grateful where you are in your situation at right now. Because to you, it might not seem like a lot, but to someone else, it is a huge gift. So I usually pray before paying bills. I say, Lord, thank you for the resources to cover this. I trust you to multiply what I have, and I love you, and thank you again. And I try to imagine myself opening up my medical bills or opening up my credit card bills or whatever the bill may be without panic, knowing that I have the resources set aside to take care of these things. Bless every dollar that comes in and every dollar that goes out because money is meant to be spent. Don't be scared of it running away. I always say it's just money because that's what it is. It's just money. We all evolve our whole life around it. We all stress about it. We all lose hairs over it, pull our hair out of our head over it, but and we might lose sleep over it. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's just money. I know it doesn't grow on trees, but at the same time, don't fret over it because it's going to find its way back to you. Practical view way money moves. So, I think a good way to look at this is you always want to have an emergency fund set aside, of course. Um, Insurance is security. Multiple streams of income is important, and to have a budget if you don't already have one, and to have money dates. So, to have weekly check ins with your money and to track progress and to celebrate your wins. So, to tie this back to the Jay Shetty podcast, money is a reflection of how we see ourselves. When I felt unworthy with my finances, and when I felt unworthy with myself, my finances showed it. Missed payments, avoidance, stress. Now, as I build my self worth and lean into God's provisions, I'm building financial security, not just for me, but for my future. And that is the View way. You don't want to just build financial security for now, you want to build financial security for longevity. I'm talking about I know that this is new money that I have, but I'm talking about like the old money way. Like I want to live the old money lifestyle of like not being worried about anything that I pay for or anything that I buy, knowing that that's going to come back to me multiplied. So a good journal prompt would be, what would financial security look like for me right now? And what's one step I can take this week to build it? So, I would definitely suggest writing down a few ideas and ways that you want your money to grow. And let me tell you, if you want to be a millionaire one day, you need to start on this right now and you need to let your money work for you. My dad recently started investing my money, and actually, some profit that I made from the sale of my house, we invested back into tech companies and into these big investor companies, and it's been paying off. And my money. And to expand yourself and to have multiple streams of income. Okay, so this next segment is called Money Moves the View Way. So I would definitely start with having an emergency fund of between $500 to $1,000. And this can just be like 3 to 6 months of expenses that you would need in case there was an emergency, if you were taken out of work, or if your dog got sick. You never really know what's going to happen. And this can also go in case your car stops working or you have unexpected car issues. Insurance is security. Commit to never letting coverage lapse again. This includes health, renters, and life insurance. And please, please, please learn from my mistake, because this past year I just got off my parents' health insurance. And let me tell you, that has been a biatch. I am so over it. I'm so over adulting. I don't even want to talk about this, but that is why I am making this podcast, and this is why I am talking about this, because I want you guys to learn from my mistakes and not do what Deja did, okay? Because I have a hefty few medical bills that I have to figure out in the morning how to adult and how to work those out and how to make it so I don't have to pay it all. But hopefully that's not the case, but we're going to find out tomorrow. Anyways, I digress. So, the next segment here, the next little tidbit is to have multiple streams of income. OpenView itself is my stream of income, podcasts, sponsors, digital products. Let me use English here. And then I also have two other jobs. One's like a part-time job, the other one's like a full-time job. And so I'm able to make my money that way, and by monetizing my podcast and my YouTube and things like that. So I know that there is going to be ways for you to make money and for you to have multiple streams of income. And I know that there is not just one way. Working for the man can't be the only way, can't be the only answer. Please don't let it be the only answer. So, a budget formula that is good to follow is 10% giving, so 10% donating, 10% saving, and 80% living. So, those are going to be all of your expenses and rent and things like that. And I would adjust based on your goals. If you want to be, next millionaire, obviously save a ton more and maybe invest a lot more too. It just depends on what works best for you. Okay, the other thing that I think that is really good is to have money dates. So to have like a weekly check-in with your money and to track your progress and to celebrate your wins. And this is not, I'm scared to check my bank account and I don't want to ever look at it again and it never exists. And please don't let me see it because I'm scared to see how much is in it. No, we are not acting like that anymore, because we are high value women and we have a high valued bank account and we know what's in our bank account because we are responsible and we know it's going to look good no matter what. So, and even if it does look bad, we're going to be grateful and we're going to say thank you and move on to the next, okay? So, bringing it all together. Back to Jay Shetty and Lewis Howes. So, money is a reflection of how we see ourselves. And when I felt unworthy, my finances definitely showed it in the missed payments, the avoidance stress. And now, as I build my self worth and lean into God's provisions, I am building financial security, not just for me, but for my children. And another thing that I would like to bring up is that's the view way, is that we want to have longevity. We want our money to work for us. We want it to go long distances. And like I said, I know that this is new money that we're working with, but I have the old money mentality, is that I want my money to work for me. And with all of the investments that my dad has been working with me on and investing the money that I made from the profit of the sale of my house, those are little ways that I am learning from other people. I'm not learning all of this on my own. I'm learning from other people and trying to gain their knowledge and their perspectives so that I can be successful. And a lot of the ways that I have seen people be successful, especially rich people, is by investing their money into stocks and into businesses that they know that will be successful. So, a journal prompt for you is, what would financial security look like for me right now? And what's one step I can take to build it? And what's one step that you can take this week to build it? So, there are little steps that we can take each day to improve ourselves. And I believe that this is true in every aspect of your life. And this can also be true for the financial side of your life. So each step that you take to making a difference and to making, you know, yourself able to save money here and there. So, for example, one small difference that I'm making every week, or I guess you could say every month, is I'm not getting my nails done anymore. These are actually press on nails from Target, and I'm so embarrassed to admit that on my podcast right now. But those are ways that I am saving money so that I am not out here dropping a Benjamin to get my nails done every time. You know what I mean? Like, that is just not something I am willing to risk right now. I am wanting to risk in putting my money in other aspects of my life, like in my business and in other ways that are going to benefit me in the long term and that are going to benefit me forever, not just for right now because I want cute nails. You know what I mean? So, like, I think it was seriously. Sorry, guys. I have like a frog in my throat. I think it was seriously after I turned 25 and it was like, oh my God, like a light bulb went off in my head and I was like, holy shit, like I do not have to live poor for the rest of my life. Like there are ways that I can make money and there are ways that I can make money now. And there are little things that I can do each day to make money and to save money. And I know it's not all about money. It's really not all about money. And if you dwell over money, I feel sorry for you, but at the end of the day, it's just money, but it's the way that we survive. And the more that we have of it, I think it makes life easier and we don't have as many stresses or as many worries. So, view crew, your relationship with money doesn't have to be fear based. You don't have to repeat the cycles that you grew up with, like I did. And financial security is not selfish, it's wise, it's loving, it's God honoring, and especially for women, protecting your peace. So, Beth Kobliner's Get a Financial Life is such a financial and personal book for me, especially for young adults. And here are some lessons from her book that I loved. So, the first lesson is financial security is self love. Beth Kobliner reminds us that the most important thing that you can do for yourself in your 20s is get your financial house in order. And that means paying down medical bills, getting health insurance. Getting health insurance was actually in like probably the first few pages of this book. Like she really lets you know like what's important and what's going to help you, have a better financial life. And she also talks about building savings for your kids' future. The eighth lesson that she goes over is medical bills don't define you. Kobliner stresses the importance of health insurance as the single most important financial product you'll ever buy, and that is so true. And my lapse in coverage is why I will never do this again. And it gave me a setback for a moment, but thank God I was able to recover and bounce back. So the next thing is lesson 10. Therapy, prayer, and journaling are healing. She explains that debt, especially student loans and medical bills, can feel overwhelming, but facing it with a plan is key. So I encourage you to have the money dates each week and to set aside time to actually look at your finances, look at all your debt, and see which way you can pray over them, which way that you can tackle them this week. Maybe it's not buying that Starbucks coffee on your way to work, and maybe it's not getting your nails done until you feel like you have a little bit more money to play with. And I think it's important to journal about your fears and open those bills and make a plan, because the more that you run away from it and the more that you hide from it, the way that I have been doing, it doesn't always work out for you. So tomorrow we're going to adult. We're going to be up in the morning. We're going to be making those phone calls to all of those healthcare people that have been calling me for weeks, and we're going to get our bills straightened out. And you know what, you guys, if I can do it, you can do it. Just saying. Lesson 4. Discipline builds the life motivation promises. So Kobliner's advice on automated savings is the best way to save money is to never see it in the first place. So I would set up automatic transfers and show God that you and the universe that you're committed to stewardship and abundance. And I think that that kind of helps you just know, oh, it's tucked away somewhere safe. I don't need to see it. And for me, out of sight, out of mind is like the best way. Like if I ever have cash, like normally like the cash for my tips that I make, I stash those aside and it's like invisible money. I don't even know it's there. And then when I find the $100 or $200 that's sitting aside, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is so great. I didn't even know this money existed because I didn't even see it because it wasn't even in my bank account. So strategies like that and like outsmarting yourself, I think is really smart, especially when it comes to saving money, because if it's there, I will spend it. So I have to think of ways of how I'm not going to find the money. You know what I mean? I know that's so bad, but for some of us, it's necessary. So, lesson 24, pray for people who hurt you. So, Beth also emphasizes generosity and giving to others even when you don't feel rich. It's a powerful financial habit, and I have always been that way. Like I will literally give someone the shirt off my back, and I think it's just because that's the same way that my grandpa is, and it's like the way that he raised me is to always give no matter what you have. And my parents are always like that too, like, "Oh, you're always so quick to like throw away your money. You're always so quick to spend it on someone." And it's like, well, if it's not serving me, it can serve someone else. So I think having that mindset and having that perspective that tithing or giving isn't losing money, it's circulating energy and it's always coming back is a really good mindset to have. So here are some daily success tips that kind of combines like all of the podcasts that I went over and like the books and like my perspective of ways to like have a daily success. So to get the goal is to get 1% better each day. At least for me, that's the goal. So pray plus gratitude journal in the morning is helping yourself getting aligned at the beginning of the day. Check your your finances daily. And it echoes Kobliner's tips. Know what's in your accounts. If you know what's in your accounts, yeah, I mean, you're just going to know and be more successful and know what to put into those accounts and know what are in those accounts that you have to play with and what's in those accounts that you have to work with. Pay yourself first. Automate 5 to 10% of every paycheck into savings. 5 to 10%. And that's a good chunk of money. So if you're setting that aside, I mean, you can save some good money pretty quick. Protect your health. Never go without insurance again. Like we said, that's a non-negotiable. Build an emergency fund. The easiest way and the best way to do this is even if it's just $20 a week, that builds peace of mind. So every now and again, I'll stash a $20 bill from the week that I made tips and stash that away and pray. Stash that away and pray. That should be a song. Oh, speaking of, the next one is bless your bills. Instead of dreading payments, affirm, I am thankful and I have the resources to cover this. So the last one here I think is the most important, which is why I saved the best for last. So the tip number 7 is invest in knowledge. So read financial books, listen to podcasts, learn money skills. I invest in knowledge, and I think this is why I keep going back to saying that I got a master's degree is like I love learning and I love investing in myself and I love investing in the things around me, and so it's easy for me to want to learn and to pick up on things like that and to want to learn about finances and things, and thank God for my dad because he's taught me so much about finances. But it's always fun to learn and grow and learn new things. And shout out to my aunt, Carol, who's going to be a guest on this podcast very shortly, for giving me that book. And helping me get a little bit more financially situated in my 20s. And it can be hard, getting out of college and having a lot of student debt right off the bat. But that's most of our society nowadays. We just have student debt, and it's just, a part of our lives now. And it's just the way understanding how we can work with it and how we can better ourselves. But as the younger generation in this society, we are kind of like given, the short end of the stick, especially when it comes to finances. And we're not all, granted or loaned a small $1 million. So we have to learn to work with what we have and make the best of it. So, View Crew, I want you to hear me on this. Your relationship with money is not set in stone. The fights you saw growing up, the bills stacking up on your counter, the fear of not having enough, none of that defines you. What defines you is how you decide to move forward. And the View Way is about choosing faith over fear, abundance over lack, and alignment over chaos. Like Jay Shetty and Lewis Howes reminds us, money is a reflection of how you see yourself. When you see yourself as unworthy, money slips through your fingers. But when you see yourself as chosen, as capable, and blessed, money becomes a total tool God places in your hands to build, protect, and give. For me, that's meant facing my medical bills head on, making sure I never let health insurance laugh again, and committing to becoming more financially secure, not just for myself, but for my future children. Because the smartest thing a woman can do is grow and protect her finances. That's not selfish, it's stewardship, it's love, and it's legacy. So, as you leave this episode, I want you to ask yourself, what's one money wound I need to heal? And what's one step I can take this week towards financial peace? Write it down, pray over it, and trust that God will meet you there. Your bank account doesn't define your worth, but how you treat your money can shape your future. And with God in the center, I promise you, abundance is already on its way. So, thank you so much, View Crew. I will miss you guys so much. Until next week. Sorry about the crazy schedule with everything, but I look forward to seeing you next time. And don't forget to grab this book and let me know what you guys think of it. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye. Mwah. Love you bunches.